I'm so pretty. Hello. Me, hat. Make sure we're not too shiny. Me, producer. Me, makeup. Me, content. Me, educator. All the hats I wear. Hello and welcome. This is the fourth and final portion of the Self-Mastery Earth Survival Guide. At least this collection of courses, of course. Because, everything's always changing. There's going to be plenty of more topics, I'm sure of it. But in this section, we are going to be talking about energy budgeting. We're not only talking about how we're spending energy outwardly, but also how we spend it internally when it comes to the exchange between us and our belief systems, and how we can make better deals with ourselves on how to spend and operate. So, with that, on to the video. At the end of the last section, I mentioned economic vibrational literacy. That term came in and I said, that's fire. Those words are fire. But what does it mean am I talking about the global economy? Because, among current events, which may have changed since I filmed this video, I say economic vibrational literacy because when you understand the way in which energy, first let me start by saying this energy is your currency. A term that many practice and integrate and have integrated into how they move through life. And when you start thinking about the energy behind things versus the action or the visible outcome itself, you shift how you engage. And that in itself is going to change so much. And so when we talk about economy and economic vibrational literacy, we're talking about the spending of energy and how we can do that in the best ways possible. Before we get too much further into this, there are a couple of principles that we need to note before I introduce a new concept. One of the principles when you are thinking about energy budgeting and it's like, well, how do I spend energy and all blah, blah, blah. Again, steps. Self-regulation, integration, all of these levels. This is a higher vibration of understanding how to work with the energy that stands behind so many things. The first principle is that you understand that energy is infinite as it moves through me. If we take this into spaces, it will eliminate the idea of, I don't have the energy to do that. I have to get this energy from somewhere else. I have to do this. You have all the tools and processing capabilities to generate your source frequency from inside of you. The challenge is when we don't know the pathways, when we don't know the structures, it's harder to do that because you don't know what is you and what is not. The second principle is understanding that you live life and I live life as an expression of my intention. This is powerful. When I wrote this, I starred and highlighted and did all the things because this is, I live my life as an expression of my intention. And when I intend to do things that are in alignment with my path and my soul frequency and my mission, I'm unstoppable. And that is the portion that pulls up that source recreating within you. Not even recreating, more or less, it's remembering. Remembering that access has always been there. Honoring all of the reasons why we forgot. Whatever that may be for you. Those two principles, we are ready to move forward. As we move forward in this course, I am going to introduce what is called the self-regulatory meter. Now, Sarah, why didn't you mention this earlier when we were in the self-regulation situation? Well, you see, as an educator, I looked at all of the information that had been presented to me, and it felt in alignment to put this in this section because there are a lot of key core concepts that needed to be established prior to this information being presented. Now, the self-regulatory meter exists separate from the energetic capacity. Something that I like to think about is like and I will use imagery later on this, if I have my energetic capacity and that's like one of my like status bars, then the self-regulatory meter is like another status bar, and like they also intertwine in some ways. And so I developed this concept to help people visualize what it looks like when we're spending our energy not wisely, when we're spending our energy and burning ourselves out. Acknowledging the process of doing that. And in order to walk it back, to be able to understand how not to do that, how not to burn yourself out, you have to be willing to look inward. And so this whole like self-work, self-love, self-interest, self-mastery is looking at all of it. No stone can go left unturned in this process. Again, and it's not all going to hit you at once. So, because if you did that, your body would explode. And that's just like not the experience that we're probably looking to have, right? So that's like, it's funny from the standpoint of how powerful Source is. And if you knew all the truths without the integration portion, your body could not physically handle all of it at once if you've never looked at anything. And so our bodies have this beautiful way of protecting us. And so when we give ourselves permission to unlock those doors and let whatever behind it come in, whatever that may be, we have the ability to shift our realities, which I will continue to repeat. This is what this is about. Okay, on to the self-regulatory meter. The self-regulatory meter, or SRM, as I may refer to it as we continue on through this, is a measurement of one's own energetic availability. So not capability, not what you're capable of, but what energy is available to you, okay? Before we get into expanding how to utilize this outwardly, again, our outward and external experiences are only reflections of our internal. So where are we looking? Right here, baby. So we're going to look internally and see how that process and structure looks. To help us understand and visualize this a little bit better, I am going to go ahead and insert another visual here where we talk about and visualize the SRM as a battery pack, as we mentioned, separate from the energetic capacity, and just how they intertwine. And so I'll go ahead and insert this here.
So as we mentioned, the definition of self-regulation meter is the measurement of one's self-identified energetic availability. So the first level of this, as we see with this beautiful health status bar, is the overflow state. This means and is the most abundant state and where we are aligned with self. You'll also see on these graphics the little circle, and that is how it correlates directly to our circle of awareness. The next level is the level of full satisfaction. This is where an individual reaches self-awareness and they're feeling good about their accomplishments, and there's an opportunity to give further to self, which will allow you to level up. As you can see, the circle of awareness is expanded a little bit more because individuals may utilize their own energy to give outwardly in this process as well, but not necessarily in a draining way, at least draining to the complete complexity that can be. The next level of the self-regulatory meter is a potential for stagnation. This is a choice point when it comes to observing how we are budgeting our energy. Are you going to give to others or give to yourself? When you give to others at this point in this process, your battery is going to potentially drain a lot quicker than if you were giving at the state of overflow. So when you choose to give to yourself, you are naturally going to generate more energy input within the being than if you're choosing others, because that will put more energy out. The next level of this is the reserves. This is the last amount that we can give outwardly. Often we give this to folks that are in our inner circles because we can justify spending energy for the people that we love and care about, but returning to self is going to be handed to you by the universe in whatever way that will look, in order for you to recognize that it is time to pour back into self. Now, in the event that self-reflection does not happen, then we go into the next level of depletion for the self-regulatory meter. This is the burnout phase. As you can see, the circle of awareness is very expanded here. If we had this in the imagery of the energetic capacity from the first video, we would see that it is like expanded all the way out. All resources have been exhausted, and this is where we start to see physical impacts, which you may also see at the second level, but at this level specifically, there's no denying that a return to self is needed.
So before we can talk about how to energy budget further, we need to look at the steps in the process that is occurring. So when you are considering how energy is being spent in regards to navigating your belief systems, deciding what gets to stay, what's going, and all of those things, the more you look inward, the tighter your circle of awareness is going to be, the less energy will be output outwards. Okay? And so when you have the energy and the capacity to just continue pouring into yourself, things are going to happen a lot quicker. Now, when we have to pause and reflect and do the things and do the dance, that also takes time. And that's okay. The point of this, and again, the point is to utilize information to help shift your consciousness regardless of what vibration you exist right now. In this process, the self-regulatory instruction that we talked about earlier will come back up. But more importantly, we're being asked to deeper look at our energetic bodies and our physical bodies and how they intertwine. Because when we can identify, and again, it's about knowing the belief systems, knowing the triggers in the belief systems, all those things. When we can identify that and do all that business, then we can say, okay, I'm feeling tightness in the throat. Clearly, there's like a throat chakra blockage. What area of my life am I not speaking my truth? And if I don't speak my truth in that space, is that going to be detrimental to my energetic availability? If I choose to walk into that room, is that going to be, do I want to spend my energy that way? That's the other thing too. There's no right or wrong way to spend energy. Good and bad, out the window. It's all about experience. And it's shifting the perspective up to that vibration where that can be held as truth. Because as we navigate from a fear-based reality to a love-based reality, those things are going to take time to come on in. All right? With the power of affirmations, let's talk about the throat chakra again. Say I have a throat chakra blockage. Do I have an affirmation to help me through that? Oh, I don't? Okay, I need to take a deeper look. Okay, how has my voice been stopped before in this context? You know, and this is an example. Look, these are the questions that I ask myself when those things come up for me. Because I'm like, you know, I don't want to continue feeling this. And that is the thing, is the determination to shift your perspective changes, because when your life and your reality starts shifting based on how your internal experience is being navigated, you're gonna be like, oh, wait a second, I don't have to tolerate certain things anymore. Okay. And that's not even with others, that is with yourself. And again, making and setting those boundaries with yourself. The self-regulatory process, the transmutation process, is all the process of getting to know the manual of your self-regulatory meter, because you're understanding and you understand what raises your energy and what depletes it, and having to be really honest with yourself about that. Your ability to determine where you're at in that process directly correlates to your ability to navigate how to energy budget better. After checking in with myself in any situation, what have you, and getting to a point where something has to shift, because sometimes we accidentally fall into the burnout phase. You know, even people that are in this space and practice what I'm saying, sometimes we find ourselves there, and it's like the wildest thing. It happens so fast. But I allow myself to release the expectation of trying to get back to that full bar fast. I allow myself to be patient with myself. And, you know, there's not really a drawn out step-by-step process on how to energy budget, because budgeting your energy is a part of the entire self-regulatory process. It just naturally happens. The practice of budgeting one's own energy is also the ability to step further into integration and that process. Committing deeper to say, okay, I have 5 coins and I need to use 3 of those to process this thing, and I have 2 extra ones. But if I want to engage with this person, then I'm going to be negative energy and I'm going to burn out. Oh, well then, maybe we shouldn't engage with that person, because now you don't have enough coins to deal with that one trauma or what have you, or rewrite that one belief system, or 2 extras. Now you're down 10 coins. So you don't have the 5 that you had, and now they've depleted further your energy. And just to be very clear, this is not a level of blaming. This is, but realities are many people are at different vibrations. And it is key and important to understand your own vibration to make sure that you are bringing and putting energy into the people in your life that align with you, without pressure, without expectation. Because being around anybody, regardless of what vibration that you are at, if they support you and they understand and they are in alignment with what your soul frequency is, then there's not going to be this codependent energy pull per se. It's also the practice of not judging people in other vibrations, judging people in other experiences, who hold other belief systems that vary from our own. Because essentially, we are all here to just experience, so who are we to cast judgment on someone else's soul contract? That doesn't seem correct. Simply does not seem correct. With this energy budgeting and the setting of the boundaries internally that then get reflected externally, there's this patience with self that is also allowing the experience of your emotions to shift. How I experience joy is significantly different than I did 3 years ago. And knowing that as you gain more momentum in your energetic capacity and you learn more about how to invest and push energy here, there, what have you, you strengthen your ability as a co-creator. You strengthen your ability as an alchemist, and you strengthen your ability to continue to live a reality that feels like a dream. Because when you're aligned with your soul frequency and everything that is the I Am presence, all that can be in your life is love. In learning this energetic value system, and not just here with energy budgeting, but throughout this entire course, when you put these practices to practice, you are defining where your success is within your own energy. And that's exciting. Energy budgeting is a collection of all of the concepts we have talked about thus far, and we'll continue to build on from here. I am very grateful to have assisted in the presentation of this information. Some may say this has come from the higher realms, other from the guides, other from the ancestors, other from the ancients. Regardless, as I said in the beginning, the only thing that changes is the relatability of the information presented across time. With that, thank you for sitting with me. Thank you for watching this entire collection, and I hope you have a day where you hold space for whatever emotions may come up for you.